started now. Lynn Fair from MidSouth Bank joins us to talk a little bit about something special they're doing for animals here in the next week on Friday, I believe. Is that right, Lynn?
That is correct. From 11 to 2, we're having a Super Bowl, which is Souper Bowl. So NFL, be kind. We're going to have 10 contestants vying for the best soup, and it's all to raise money for Paws.
So tell us a little bit about your relationship with Paws personally. I know you are really passionate about, keeping animals safe and giving them a humane place to live while they're waiting to be adopted, right?
That is correct. So I started volunteering for Paws, oh my gosh, almost 2 years ago, because I'm known as the crazy cat lady. So they had a cat house, and I went over and worked with their spiciest kittens, and just trying to make them more adoptable with clicker training and treats. And then I became a board member. I have 2 kittens that I fostered from Paws that are now fails. So my husband said I couldn't bring any more home. But one of them was, and this is, they do this repeatedly. This is not a one-off. You would think it should be, but people are cruel. So Scrumptious, who is my female cat, was thrown from a car when she was like 5 weeks old, and she came in and she had a messed up jaw and her face was cut. She didn't like people, probably because somebody threw her from a car. And while she was in her cage, her tip of her ear was damaged and it just fell off. So for a while, she was so small she could get out of the cage. That's how undernourished she was. But they kept on bringing her back. So I started working with her, and she liked me. So a lot of times the animals will find their humans. And so she liked me. But when anybody, even the fosters, came to see her, she was missing half her ear and her face was a little messed up. So, and she hid in the back of the cage so no one would come. And finally I told my husband, I said, I have this kitten. She doesn't know how to play because she's always in a cage. And he said, well, can you bring her home? And I said, okay. And when I got there, she only had one cage mate, and that was Ben. And Ben was crying. And I asked him what the deal was, and his eyes were watering. And they said, well, he was a return. They said he was too needy. So I brought them home, both home. So I was supposed to bring home 1 kitten. I brought home 2.
As it happens.
Which made my husband and the 2 other cats, not too happy. I said, don't worry, I'm going to get them out. I'll teach them tricks and they're going to get adopted. And I taught them tricks. They go to the beach, they go paddle boarding. But no one really applied to adopt them until about 9 months later. And I decided, nope, they're mine. So I have them. My husband has said, do you love those kittens? And I said, yes. Does it make you happy? I said, yes. He said, if you bring another kitten home, you and that cat are going to have to go live at the shelter. So
what you're telling me is really this Super Bowl is about making sure that Mr. Fair keeps his sanity, his wife, and reduces the chances of your home becoming a menagerie. That's what this is about.
That is correct. So The Super Bowl is twofold. We're doing one, a fundraiser. So you're going to come in, bring in-kind donation valued at $5 or more, or $5. Cash is king. And to donate to Taste, there'll be other food. It's kind of chaotic. And there's going to be cats and dogs in the bank. And, quite honestly, that's unusual. So you can come and you can meet some of the lovely cats and dogs we have for adoption. And we're still looking for cold fosters too, because our shelter was built in the 90s and it really wasn't built for our cold weather. So it's not conducive to the weather we're having. So if you have a place in your heart to take an animal for 2 weeks and give them a little break from the shelter, that would be great too.
All right, awesome. And so anything is possible when people get together to raise money for animals. Lynn, is there anything else people need to know? What time does this take place on Friday the 6th?
It takes place from 11 to 2. So bring your appetites, donations, and maybe take home a cat or a dog. We're going to have some fun things because it's always chaotic when we do these things. I've got a field, and so we're going to have the dogs kind of dressed up, playing football, and ring a bell every time somebody gets adopted. So it should be a great time.
That's perfect. And we're so glad to have you on, Lynn. We are excited about this event coming forward. We'll be putting up pictures this week from that event on Friday. And if you have it in your heart, think about adopting a cat or a dog. Or do you guys have anything besides cats or dogs? There's not like lemurs or anything, right?
Every once in a while we get a farm animal, but we don't have any right now.
All right,
so
perfect.
You can go to our website and see the available cats and dogs. We actually have coffee, and I'll be sending a picture of that. That we have our own coffee. It's called Rescue Roast. And so if you like coffee, you can buy coffee, and $4 of every bag goes to Paws. And we've started spotlighting cats and dogs, and the first one is Cider. And so it's little cat that could. And she is our first Rescue Roast spotlight animal.
Perfect. Well, Lynn Fair with MidSouth Bank, they're having an event this weekend, the Super Bowl. It's going to be taking place from 11 to 2 over there at MidSouth Bank in Fort Walton Beach. Thank you so much for coming on with us, Lynn.
Thank you.